3 years after Kindred Healthcare's Avery Crossing Assisted Living and Avery Manor Nursing Home left Needham, a Norwood-based developer, LCB Senior Living, is now seeking the town's approval to bring back senior housing in the existing building at the corner of Highland Avenue and West Street. The planning board has sponsored 2 warrant articles for the project at the upcoming October town meeting. Here's municipal producer Yuxiao Wen with more details.
The plan is to renovate and add a 4th floor to the existing 3-story building. The new building will house 72 independent living units, 55 assisted living units, and 28 memory care units. To support the project, the planning board has submitted a pair of zoning articles to create a new zoning district called Avery Square Overlay District, whose boundaries basically match the boundaries of the property. The zoning changes closely reflect what the developer proposes to build. For instance, the maximum height would change from 35 feet or 2.5 floors to 44 feet or 4 floors. In order to reduce the visual impact, the article only allows 35% of the existing roof area to be used as a 4th floor with minimum setback requirements. Project architect Anthony Vivirito explained to the select board at its meeting on June 23rd that the 4th floor will have 10 independent living apartments and a pavilion area for assisted living residents. The traffic study found that the new facilities will generate less than half of the trips generated by the previous use of Kindred Healthcare.
It's a much less intense use, especially as it relates to the nursing facility, which can have a higher number of employees, and medical offices, which have a lot more to and from associated with them.
The fiscal report estimated an annual influx to the town of over $390,000, with about $554,000 in revenue raised by taxes and about $163,000 in municipal costs. The proposed zoning articles require that 12.5% of the independent living apartments must be affordable units, which would make 9 out of the 72 independent living apartments affordable. At a community meeting held by the Needham Heights Neighborhood Association on September 14th, the presentation from LCB Senior Living noted that 6 affordable units would give preference to local needs. LCB Ted Doyle explained how it will work.
We can't legally give priority to anyone, through housing regulation, but we do have control over releasing information locally first and advertising with a local focus. As I think I said before, our market area tends to be very close to home. Either the senior or their kids tends to live within 3 to 5 miles of any of our communities.
LCB Lee Bloom cited current median income numbers to explain the cost of rent for affordable units.
Right now, the annual median income for 2 folks is $77,000, and 80% for 1 person is $67,400. So today, the rent for 2 folks would be roughly $1,900, and the rent for 1 person would be roughly $1,600.
Since the site sits across from the Needham Heights station, train horn noise is another concern.
We'll redo the fence between us and the tracks with sound attenuation, make sure the new windows that provide additional sound protection. But the big issue there is the trains that just sit there and idle all the time, and also the whistles as they go through the various intersections. It's really more an education. There's only so much we can do.
At the June 23rd meeting, Select Board member Dan Matthews cautions the developer that they must inform the future residents of a realistic expectation of the train horn situation.
You're bringing in 150 plus new residents to the neighborhood, hopefully, and those people, once they're here, they'll live here just like everybody else, and they can say and do whatever they want, including saying they don't like the train noise. But I sure don't want to hear anybody say, oh, nobody ever told me about this, or you have an obligation to change this. This is one of many things that goes on in the community that we've worked. A certain approach to this works reasonably well for most folks here. I think your project is great, but people have to understand this and be realistic about what kind of expectations they can have in an urban environment. And we sure don't want to be here that anybody tell us, well, that they were misled by you, because we will send them right back to you to talk that over.
The Select Board has voted to support the zoning changes at its meeting on September 8th. Since assisted living and independent living facilities are only allowed by special permit in the Avery Square Overlay District, if town meeting approved the 2 zoning amendments in October, the developer would still need to apply for a special permit from the planning board. Lee Bloom estimated that if things went smoothly, construction could begin in August 2021. For the Needham Channel News, I'm Yu Xiaoyuan.